Oh, oh.
Hello, folks.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
y'all.
It's Thursday. It's 7 o'clock. Get in here. Get in here. Y'all
What
get
do
in
you
here.
say? Come on in. Come on in.
Come on in. Make
Step in the
yourself
room. Step into the
comfortable.
kitchen.
Come on in. Make yourselves comfortable. Make yourselves comfortable. Get in here. Get in here.
Yes.
Y'all
Yes.
hurry up and get in here.
Come on in. Look,
Get
the
in.
kitchen is open.
The kitchen is open
The kitchen
and we
is
did it. What's going on today, man?
what you say?
What's going on today?
Ooh, so much, so much. It's been a rough week for me. Getting back to a regular schedule at work has
Oh,
been.
this is, oh, really? Are you back to work on a regular schedule now?
Yes, yes, and
Yes.
it's been
Myself.
challenging, mentally and physically. It's just been challenging. Goes to show that it's very easy to train your mind, your body to do anything that you want to do. And
Yeah.
so just being at home 3 days out of five, working from home 3 out of 5 for the last, 6, 7 weeks, I've trained myself to operate in that manner, whether it be the time that I go to sleep at night, when I wake up, all of those things have become my norm. And
Mm.
so when you get an email the night before, a couple of nights before, they say, "Okay, hey, you guys, so we're gonna we're gonna go ahead and reverse this thing." It's like, whoa, wait a minute.
Wait,
You
that's how
know,
you got it in an email?
yeah, they sent a broad email. Yeah, just our unit, just my unit.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because, well, they are opening up back the rest of the city. I did hear tonight that they are opening the beaches for the holiday.
Oh,
Um,
for the holiday.
yes, that's this weekend. They're opening the beaches. However, they are not allowing um, picnics. You can't bring chairs. You can't sit down. You're supposed to just, I
Get a
guess,
walk.
come run or jog. You have to be moving.
Oh.
So, what? I'm missing the point.
Well, so we were there, not at the beach, but we had lunch. We sat in the car and had lunch um, at Santa Monica Beach last Saturday. And when I tell you that it felt like pre-COVID, there was so many people out there. There was so much traffic, and there was no running and jogging going on. The folks were
Yeah,
just at the beach enjoying themselves.
yeah, they can have it. I'm good.
I'm
I don't.
so good.
I'm good. In fact, I was listening to Dr. Roland, who's supposed to be on next week. He
Who
was
will
on
be
it.
on next week?
Yeah, he's going to be on next week, and he was saying some interesting things. So yeah, we got to tune in. I don't think the city is quite ready, but I'm not one of the professionals, so I'm just gonna keep my little self right on at home, though.
Right, absolutely. In this At this stage, it's a personal thing, and so I'm with you. I'm not willing to just because they said we can. I'm not willing to say, well, I am about to just go back to the regular way of living and going and operating and connecting. I'm not yet, not
Yeah,
yet.
no, I'm good. I was trying to give some time. Y'all know Malik. Y'all know how he operates. He,
How
what
does he operate
he
exactly?
operates on his own time, his own. If he even shows up today, that like, oh God, he would have been fired if I wasn't his mother. Well, he was fired already several times.
Maybe, and I'm gonna just, I don't know, devil's advocate. Maybe the topic isn't something that he'd like to sit with his mom and
Oh, girl.
chat about.
Do he even remember the topic? Yeah, no, we don't know. We don't know. I just texted him 45 minutes ago, told him what time he's supposed to be here. I can't be babysitting. That's crazy. But he gonna miss it because we got a good show tonight. We
Yeah,
got Miss Mavis McKnight.
yeah.
She is a passionate, caring, certified sex coach who is
Passionate.
full of
What
mission.
you call it? A passionate one.
Passionate. Passionate. She's on a mission to educate and motivate and inspire Christian. There's a certain market, Christian wives, to enrich their sexual relationship. And I think that's very important because
Very.
Christians get kind of hung up on the whole sex thing.
They get hung up on religion, period. Just religion will have you saying, I can't do this, I can't do that, I shouldn't say this. And her whole arena is like, let's get comfortable, Christian ladies.
Yeah, good. So that's what she's on. She encourages women to embrace their sexuality, learn to be creative, and bring more fun and excitement to their intimate lives. Her vision is to see spirituality, faith, and sexuality coexist in harmony and celebrate. I love that. I love that. That's good. Some of the areas she explores are more fun and fulfilling sex, planning romantic and erotic dates. That's a good one. Taking the stress and distress and worry out of sex. Kicking sexual frustrations to the curb. That can be, we were talking about that today. Only for your sexual needs. Deep, soulful connections, intimacy inside and outside of the bedroom. So we're not going to waste any more time because I want to hear a little bit of what she has to say. We're going to invite Miss Mavis onto the stage so she can finish the rest of her bio.
Hey.
Yes, let's get her. Welcome on in.
Thank you.
Welcome to the kitchen.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. So honored to be here. Thank you, ladies, for having me. Oh my goodness. I'm listening to that bio and I'm like, ooh, I want to get with that lady, whoever she is.
Right.
Yeah.
To sound like that to yourself.
Exactly. But yeah, as Tina was saying, yeah, I just believe in women, especially believers, because that's who God called me to, embracing their gift of sex, because it is a gift. And I think that a lot of times, because we're in the Christian faith, we don't see it as that. And unfortunately, there's been a long history of negative talk and about sex, about sexuality, and matter of fact, anything that has to do with sex. So my mission absolutely is to help break down some of those barriers and help women to get a new mindset, to get a more sex positive mindset, and to kind of kick those beliefs, those old beliefs to the curb. And so, they could engage more in their sexual relationship. And so they can add some more flavor to it and some more spice to it, and basically make it pop and make it something that they actually want to get involved in and stay involved in.
That's good.
She said, make it pop.
Hey, right. Pop.
I was like, oh.
That is so true, though, because growing up in a Christian home, I know sex was kind of like a taboo subject, It's almost like the forbidden sin, particularly outside of marriage, of course. But because of that, instilling about sex is bad outside of marriage, fornication is like the biggest sin in the world. Like you can kill somebody and get to heaven, but don't you have sex out of wedlock.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Teaching the positive about it.
Yeah, it makes sex a bad thing in your mind. For a lot of people. So yeah, so I'm ready to dive into this. I want to know, I'm just gonna kick it right off with one question. Why do you think that Christian people have such have that whole hard no line with sex versus anything else?
Well, from my research and what I've learned is that it goes all the way back to the Catholic Church, because of course Christianity came out from the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church, they are basically the ones who put the edict out there that, first of all, for the priests, that they had to be abstinent and they couldn't marry. So of course Martin Luther, who started the Reformation movement, he was totally against that. And he talked about, how what he believed about marriage, what he believed about sex, and he basically tried to change the outlook. But he talked about it so much that he started dividing the church. So in order for the Catholic Church to come back together, they hired this guy, Dr. John Kellogg, who was the creator of Kellogg's cornflakes, and because he was this health guru, a lot of his methods worked. So he was pretty prominent, and people really believed what he said. But he personally is the one that put out there that sex was a sin, that self pleasure was a sin, that you shouldn't, that priests should not get married. So they called him in, and because people believed a lot of the things that he said, that got perpetuated. And then once they did that, then it's like, okay, we're back on track. The Catholic Church, we have control again of the church and of the state, so, and people's moral compass. So now we can move forward. And they just perpetuated that belief, and it's still prominent today, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, wow, so we got an origin. That makes sense.
I was gonna say, it's always good to have an origin, because we do things like you're saying, Tina. Me too. I too was raised in a Christian home, and there was little to no talk about sex. And if you talk about sex, it definitely is going to result in pregnancy. And it's like, wait, that's not, teach me the right way. At least talk about why it was created and who it was created for, right?
Right.
But they didn't do that out of fear that you would actually do it. My parents felt like if we talk about it, that's giving you permission to go ahead and try it, and that's not so.
Right. That's not so. Absolutely. And what they were missing was that they talked about the negative part, or the part that they would just stay away from, but they did not talk about the beauty of it. So there really needed to be a balance in the discussion, just like now. It needs to be a balance in the discussion. Right. Yeah, there's some areas and aspects that you're not supposed to, utilize, of course, with sex, how we believe, outside of marriage. But then you have to talk about the beauty of it, because if you just have that one-sided view, then even once you get into your marriage, you're going to be like still believing, oh, this is bad, this is a sin, and then you're not going to be able to relax and get into your relationship with your husband.
Right. Well, let's talk about husbands. You say you got a whole secret. Let's talk about the secret.
Let's ease right on there.
Tell us about your book. Your book is called The Secrets of a Good Wife, right?
Yes. It's Secrets of a Good Wife, Sex Truths, and Other Marriage Essentials. Now, the book is about marriage, men, sex, and you. So it talks about how we can learn about the man language and his design, so we can learn how to communicate better, we can understand him, and we can be a better helpmate. And it also talks about how to be in marriage, what to do in marriage, and it also talks about how to help the women to free themselves sexually, and also how to help women learn to love them and respect themselves. So and then of course the sex truths part is all about how God sees sex and his view of sex, and sharing that information with women and helping women to basically build their positive mindset about sex.
What sparked you to write such a book?
Well, I just had all this information coming to me, and I'm like, okay, I can't say all this at one time. So I had to just put it on paper. And I know God gave me this information to share. But what's so funny is that when I got done writing the book, and I was like, okay, God, who did I really write this book for? And he said, for me, because I needed to learn how to be a better wife. And I was like, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. I needed to follow a lot of the suggestions in the book about being a better wife. And he just had me to put it on paper without me really knowing that it was for me first, and then for, other women.
Isn't that the truth?
That's
usually
true.
Our story is for us first.
It's always for us first. Yes.
So you have to start learning to practice what you preach.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you knew it. You knew what you should be doing, and he was depositing in you what you should be doing. But while you were writing it, you were assuming this is for the people. I
Somebody.
just want to educate folks because I'm educated, and so I want to
Absolutely.
educate the people. Then you begin to read it and say, "Wait a minute,
Exactly.
wait a minute. This is for me.
Wait, I'm not doing
I
that.
didn't do it."
Yes, that's exactly right, Tam. That's exactly right.
That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in all of this, the secret, like, give us one of the secrets. Can you give us one, or do we got?
Absolutely, absolutely. I can give you one now. One secret. Let me see. This has to do with the type of wife that your husband would like for you to be: fun and sexy and classy. So a lot of us, well, a lot of women, once they get into the marriage, they stop doing what they were doing before they got into the marriage. So, you lure, or you not lure, you draw your husband to you, with this certain persona, and then you change up. So one thing that I want to share with women is you have to keep doing what you were doing before you got married, after you get into the marriage. And being a fun and sexy and classy wife is one of the things that you should strive to do. And as far as the definition of secret, it could be something that's hidden, of course, that don't nobody know about, but it could also be something that you think is one way, but then somebody has a different idea of it, and they're sharing that with you. And some of these truths in this book, that's exactly what it is. And some of these secrets that's exactly what it is.
So the secrets are personal. The secrets are personal to the reader, to the receiver of this book. It's
absolutely
whatever you and your husband have. That is your secret. So it's not a specific.
Well, actually, they are specifics because they are common things that happen in marriage that people are not really aware of. So it's basically opening up that door and letting people know that this is how this can go and how it can work better for you and better for your marriage. And I'm looking over here, looking for my book so I could
Yes, so, yeah. Book. I love the cover. Now that
right here. Yeah,
that's a gorgeous cover. I do love that. That's really cute. I like that.
Thank you. And the cover, can I just say real quick, the cover was designed by Melanie Grace.
Oh, absolutely. Love her.
Yes. Love the cover.
Yeah, love it. I do too.
Okay, so what I want to before we go on, let me get a little bit of your credentials. How long have you been married?
I have been married for 14 years. This April 1st made 14 years.
Okay. Now, I'm going to come in and I'm going to light some fire under you right now. Let me.
And look, and I am married to a pastor, just so you know. So everybody will know I am married to a pastor. A pastor's wife.
Here's what I think. I like what you said about, getting married, but my problem with that and how we change up after a while. Now, I think that takes two people. Like, it's not just the woman. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm screaming, but it's not just the woman, because it's like, yeah, the honeymoon is going to be over. Let's just be real. It's going to go over. You're not going to have that every day with the guy. So you do have to work in practice at staying excited. And I think that's where it gets hard. But I don't think it's always the one person. I think both people get really, really lax. And that causes you to not want to feel sexy or not want to, put on the negligee and cook dinner and all of that. Like, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to be on the man is what I'm saying.
Say that again. Say that last part again.
On the man is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And that's the thing about what I do. God called me to the women, but my thing is also couples. It takes two to tango. Just like you said, it cannot, and nothing can be one-sided. Whenever you guys, the husband and wife, go into whatever situation, whether it be sex, finances, or communication, whatever it is, both parties have to be willing to bring 100%, 150, whatever that percentage is that we say it is now. But both parties have to be willing to bring it to the table. I absolutely agree with you. You have to have both parties involved if you really want to have some success.
And that gets a little hard after, especially if both people are working, and God don't even talk about little kids involved, and you just don't have that kind of energy at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
What is there a secret? Is there a secret in the book, or a
help me,
secret that you have
help me,
that
Lord.
would say that would speak to that? So you have two parties, of course, two people in this marriage, but only one person is doing the work, or willing, I would say, or willing. So what would be your recommendation for the one that is willing? Because eventually that person gets a little tired or frustrated or angry,
Mm-hmm.
or go through different emotions, because it's like, wow, I'm the only one in this. What
Mm-hmm.
would you, and as a just as a marriage advocate, a marriage coach, what would your suggestion be?
Well, my number one suggestion is always the communication part. People have to talk, and they have to be willing to talk. What I found out is that some people, some couples are never going to be on the same page. And I believe that any two people can make it, but sometimes there are couples that are not going to be on the same page. And one party is may always be the one that working and working and working to make sure everything is copacetic, as my father used to say. But if both parties are willing, if you're in a pretty healthy marriage and both parties are willing, but you guys just don't know what to do, you have to start with having that conversation. And before you have the conversation, you have to say a prayer, ask God to give you the words to say, then ask him to open up his understanding and her understanding, whichever one it is that's the one that's being pulled along and the one that's doing all the work, has to ask for understanding from both parties, and that they both receive it. It's not glamorous, but it has to be done. You have to have that conversation. That's the first thing. Second, if both parties decide, yes, we're going to do this, we're going to work together, there's always going to be that period where one of them is going to fall off the wagon because it's not going to be something they're used to. And that's where the other party is going to have some patience and give some space to let that person kind of get back on board without, getting so upset about it. That the person is not doing everything that they want them to do, like just like that. So those two things right now is what I would recommend. Um,
So have some grace. You're saying that the
you
spouse
have
that
you have
is
to have grace.
there and ready must have some grace, and
You have to.
communicate. But at the same time, I mean, reality is sometimes one of the parties feel like we're good, like we're good, like don't fix, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And then you have
Mm-hmm.
someone that's saying it is broke,
Right.
we need to fix it. So that's still there, that communication is still off right there, because
Yeah.
they're on
And
two separate pages. So that person that's willing is going to have to remember that this is about serving. This is about serving. This is about serving. It's a
mm-hmm.
mindset. Now it's just an individual thing, because you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're in it by yourself anyway, right?
Right. Right. And the point you made about serving is so important. And I think people go into marriage thinking something totally different. They think the marriage is
Absolutely.
going to make them happy, when marriage is not about solely making you happy, but it's about you serving. It's about you learning how to grow, and how to build character, and how to get along with another person, and how to uh, advance your what are those gifts, fruits of the spirit that
Yeah.
people talk about all the time. And people may think that stuff is not real, but it is absolutely real. And if you're in it for that and for the long haul, then you can work things out. But if you don't know and you're not in it for that, then there is going to be a problem. There is. And I'm just truthful. I'm just real. And I believe that sometimes your only avenue is to do what's best for you, what's going to help you. If you're in a situation like that, you really need to go to God and you really need to find out what he wants you to do. If he says stay, you gotta stay.
Yeah.
If he gives you the green light to go, okay, you're free. But you got to get that from God. You have to let him tell you exactly what it is that you need to do. But if you doing everything that you can do and it still doesn't work out, hey, I would talk to God about that. I absolutely would.
Yeah, I agree. I think you should be talking to God about it even before you get
Anyway,
to the point. Yeah,
anyway,
before you get to the
absolutely.
point of saying, okay, I don't know what to do. Because like I agree with you. If you are supposed to stay in that marriage, you're already anointed. You've already been given the tools and everything
Mm-hmm.
you need in order to go through what you're about to go through with your spouse. So I
Mm-hmm.
totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
So you guys are bringing a Christian perspective to it. Let me play devil's advocate because that's just what I do. If I don't have Christ like that in my life, then what do I have to do? Because I'm still trying to please my husband, and he ain't trying to get on board of what he think I'm supposed to just flip it, flop it, rub it down every day, and I'm tired.
Well, I still believe a conversation has to take place. You might need to talk to a professional, but I truly believe a conversation has to take place, and both parties have to be in a space where they can listen. But if you're not a believer, and God is not the person that you're going to go to, then your patience might not be as long.
Oh,
You might be like, you know what? Because I've been there, done that. Trust me, I've been there, done that. So it's
Right.
like, you know what? Bye, boy, or whatever. You know. So
Just real quick.
conversation is
bye.
the key.
Yeah.
Would you
So
what about just going back to whatever your foundation is, right? So what is the
absolutely.
foundation? Whether it don't have to be God, right? Like
Hmm.
Tina is saying, there's other folks out there. Everyone isn't believers, and their foundation wasn't God.
Right.
Their foundation could have been it's something else.
Mhm.
So would you suggest that they go back to their foundation first before reaching out for outside assistance or help or counseling or whatever? Because even with that, some folks don't believe in counseling. They think well, I shouldn't say men, especially men, because I haven't done these stats on that. But many people don't
You
feel
just
like,
coming up with numbers.
yeah, I don't want to come up with numbers because Tina do it a lot. They don't want to go out and talk to other folks. So do you think going back to what your foundation is, what made you say why did you say I do? What made you
Oh
think
my God, yes, Tam, that is probably the most important thing to do. It's kind of like a first date when you have had a whole lot of years together and then you're kind of bored or whatever. You go back to the beginning. That's absolutely a thing that they can do. That's a very common suggestion, and it works a lot of times. But yes, absolutely, go back to why you said I do in the first place. Think about how the person made you feel when you guys first got together, why you love this person, and just focus on that instead of all the distractions, all the disappointments, and all the problems and issues that you've been having or that brought you to that point. But yes, that's an absolutely excellent point. Go back to the foundation, go back to the beginning, and remind yourselves.
Tina,
Um,
I know you have a few questions, but I just want to add one little piece to what she just said.
oh,
One little piece. Um, so we have to also understand that when we go back to the foundation, whatever the foundation was, if the foundation of this building isn't solid enough, the things that we've been building on top is going to be so heavy that it crumbles that foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to be willing to create a new foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because that
Mm-hmm.
foundation is shattered because of all the crap that we built on top of it, and it wasn't strong enough to build. To hold. I just wanted to like throw that in.
And that's good too, because that is where the work really starts. People probably think going to the counselor or going back to the beginning is the work, but no, when you go back to the beginning and that foundation crumbles because you got married because somebody told you to, or because
Cute,
somebody
he's
asked, or
cute, girl.
because
He's cute.
or
Come
because
on.
he's cute, or because my parents made me, and really didn't have like something really solid to a solid reason for marrying the person, something that came from the heart and the spirit, then yeah, the work that's going to crumble, and the work is going to start when you have to start building back up, and then that's going to be a whole new commitment right there. You know, that's like starting over. So you're absolutely right.
I agree. I definitely have that experience. I myself have been married several times, and uh, one, two, three, four, three, four. I mean, I lost count, but it was because all of the reasons I got married prior to my current husband. I love him to death. Love you, honey pie. Boo-boo. It was for all different reasons. Like you say, your mama, and your this, your that. I know what the reasons are now because I'm older, I'm wiser. Then I did not. I thought I was in love. You know, I thought that feeling was going to last forever. So when you're young, you really don't know these things. And so I think it is something for young people that have to be taught. I got to teach them if they're willing to listen, because in the very, very beginning, the first marriage, I wasn't willing to listen anyway. But I later learned I wasn't willing to listen is because I needed to get out the house. I wanted my own independence.
That was the only way out.
I was a Christian, you can't do nothing type of home. So, you know, but that's a whole nother story. That's me and my counseling I need.
Yeah, well, you know what, Tina? See, I grew up in a house like that too. My father was a pastor, and I didn't get married because I needed to leave or whatever. But I understand exactly what you're saying. You just want to get out at all costs, and you really don't have a clue what you're getting out and going into. You really don't. Yeah, and by the way, this is my third marriage too. The right one is the best one.
Right, and this one, by the time I went through those three successfully, I learned that this time, which took a very, very long time for me to even visit that space again. I wanted it to be for all the right reasons. And so, it has stood the test of time so far. And but I do know that things do get old. But and I have lived it. That honeymoon does fade. And I really truly believe if I had not done it for the right reasons this time, the love and friendship foundation, I would have bailed on that one too.
Yeah. So, and that happens if you're a believer or not, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
it really does.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I think those tricks in your book, you really do need them because it's gonna get old, and you gotta be able to go back to something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, Tanya DeFrady said, "Marriage is a ministry." Yeah, she said that marriage is not about happiness; it's about holiness. So that's the Christian point of view. And Otis Davis Jr. said, "You are human." So I'm guessing that was speaking to the fact that it's not always going to be howdy, but
right.
Yeah. If y'all got questions, type them in chat. And listen, y'all do me a favor while y'all still coming in. Do me a favor, click like and share it. Click like and share it because it may not be for you, but there might be someone else who really needs to hear what we're saying. And each week we really are trying to serve you and help you. So, don't keep it to yourself. Click like and share. So, do we have another secret, or do we want to get into one of the questions?
You can, whatever way you want to go. You can ask questions, or actually,
which will probably lead to the
secret. To the secret. Absolutely.
Okay, so kind of in line with what we just got through saying, I posted something in preparation of your coming on tonight. I posted yesterday. What was the question, Sam? If
your husband, or are you talking about if your husband or your wife, if they aren't satisfied in some area sexually, do you think the person should tell the husband or the wife? Do you think that's something that's being done? And if not, why not?
Oh, wait.
Are you sharing it?
Are
Because
you
I know a lot of people suffer through.
what they do? They
Suffer
suffer
through.
through.
Suffer through. Mm. Suffer through
Instead
that.
of talking about it, instead of
Yeah.
addressing it to the
Well,
right person, which is the spouse.
and I would say that for me, in my experience, not currently, y'all, don't be putting that book on me now. But I'm just saying, I got to speak what I've lived. I can only speak what I've lived. Is
Mhm.
because, the man, I'm going to just throw that on the man. They most often, their ego can't handle it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's so unfortunate because that's probably number one reason why women don't even ever say anything to men. And oh, I think I'm losing the audio. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, and yeah, they're they're so worried about the man's ego, but there's a nice way that you can say it. I first you asked the question. The first part of that question, yes, the woman should absolutely say something to her spouse if she is not being sexually satisfied. Who wants to be in a sexual relationship for years and years and years and you ain't getting nothing out of it? I know I don't.
Not
Mm-mm.
me.
So,
No, not at all. What's the use?
so one of the things, because men don't usually have a problem telling us what they want. So it's usually the women, and I'm speaking, I should say in general, because there are always exceptions to rules. Um, but in general, it's usually the woman who has the problem speaking up to the guy. So I would suggest that she takes him somewhere. Let me first say this: don't do it in the throes of your sexual experience. That's number
Yeah.
one. Don't say you ain't doing nothing or you ain't satisfying me or what are you doing and all of that. Don't do that while you guys are right in the throes of it. There's some things you can say while you're right in the throes, but some stuff you have to share it outside of the bedroom. And let's say, for instance, if you just want to share that you love, your guy, you love your relationship with him, your sexual relationship with him, you just want it to be better. You can take them somewhere on the drive, somewhere nice that you guys, like to go to a park, beach, or whatever. And then you start off your communication with him, giving him compliments, tell him you love him, tell him how you love the stuff that you guys already do or something that you already do that you already enjoy. And please be truthful about that. Something you already enjoy. It could be a massage. It could be the way he kisses you on your forehead. It could be the way he licks your ear, whatever, just something that you enjoy. And then you can lead that into, and I would love for us to, get more pleasure out of our relationship. And then you can go into whatever it is that you might want either him to try or you might want him to do, or you could say it feels better when I love how you do so and so, but it would feel so much better to me if you did it like this. Now,
Mhm.
one thing my hubby told me was that men don't like to feel like they have to work. Okay, so if
Wait,
you're, yeah, I'm telling you what he told me.
Like they have to work.
Like
wait,
they
what
have
does
to,
that mean?
yeah,
Let's
like
pin that. What does that mean?
if
They
you're
don't
trying,
like to work.
it means if you're like giving them instructions, then they feel like that's work. So we have to be careful about, yeah, just sharing what
I
he
think
told me.
I think that depends on the man. I
Oh,
really do because I know
absolutely.
some men like
I
they like you
absolutely
to tell
agree.
them.
I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely agree.
Yeah, well, how does your husband suggest that we instruct?
What you say?
I
Well,
was,
see,
I was
I
asking
did. I
her,
did ask him that. I did ask him that, but I have to ask him again because I don't really remember because we don't have that problem. So that's not something that like stayed in
Listen,
my head.
that's
So
not our problem.
don't put
I'm
that
just
on
moved
me.
on with that one. But But I will ask him again, and then I'll have an answer for you.
Well, maybe one of the people on the line tell us. Y'all maybe type it in chat. Type it in chat. Let us know. If y'all don't want to feel like y'all working, how are we supposed to tell y'all how to please us?
Because
Like,
it's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be play, and it's supposed to be experimental, and you're supposed to be curious about it. So
I agree
ask them to
with
get
you.
curious. Ask them to get more curious with you about your body. Ask them to get more curious.
okay.
I agree with the way how you said it, Mavis, as far as the conversation, how it starts with the
Mm-hmm.
compliment, and then you
Mm-hmm.
kind of ease into it because it's an ego thing. Whether we're talking about, I didn't ask you to come and pick up this bag of ice because I thought it would be too heavy. Ego.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or sex. I mean, so it's an ego thing, right? So if we can learn how to talk, we can learn how to talk to them in general, overall,
Yeah.
and reel them in with how we speak to them in one area, we can do it in another area. I'm not certain that, and I get it. I know that sex is one of those macho man areas, but I think it's an ego thing in general.
Yeah.
You know,
It is. It is.
I like to think he putting it down in the bedroom. In fact, he's all the daddy. Oh boy, gone.
What'd you say? I didn't hear the first part.
All the daddy and all of this nonsense. They really think they're putting it down. In fact, most of the times, the one who said all that nonsense, it'd be like, oh,
It'd be what?
you sleep. You be sleep. The one saying all that nonsense, call me daddy.
I can't stand.
Let me share something with you guys. Ooh, it was so embarrassing. I was watching this movie, this church channel a few years back when we first got married, and it was this popular couple that was on TV doing their thing, and the pastor, he was just going at it about how he's so bomb in the bedroom, and he be putting it down and all that stuff, and his wife could not take it no more. She was like, it ain't all that. I said, oh my God.
This was a show?
It was a church channel show with a prominent pastor and wife. Yes. And she said it ain't all that. And he was so embarrassed. And he started like looking around like, oh my God. And my first thought was, she is so wrong because she didn't tell him anything about whatever he wasn't doing. She just let him think he was just doing the business, and he was not. And see, that, oh my God, you don't ever want to happen. You don't want that stuff to come out like that in public.
That's wrong on a whole
So,
bunch of levels. That's wrong on.
it was so bad. It was so
You
bad.
should never do.
Yeah,
You
even
never
if she
do.
told him in
Huh?
private, in secret, that should have never come out in front of
Never.
anybody.
It was on national TV. Yes. So yeah. So that's why I'm more of an advocate too. After I saw that,
Yeah,
to help
right.
women to learn how to share what it is that they want, share their desires, share their needs, and even if it's hard for you, when you start having your conversation, tell your husband that, look, I want to talk about our sexual life, but this is hard for me. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't have a lot of knowledge about it, but I wanted ours to be so great that, we could brag about it to other couples or whatever, case might be.
Yeah.
So,
Let's design. We want to design something that fits us because
yeah,
the
absolutely.
reality of it is normally, there's some that are virgins, but I've been with someone prior to you. You've been with someone prior to me. So what we're doing is bringing our previous experience together and expecting something from each other that we may never get. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just clean the slate and let's create something that works for the two of us.
Something new. Right. You can't bring what you used to do with your previous into what you're doing with your current. You can't do that. That don't work because everybody's different. And you have to study your partner, your mate, and you got to get to know them. And you have to be bold and courageous enough to do that. And that's kind of where building your confidence comes in. Yeah.
All right, that's it said and done. We're gonna move on to the next question. Otis Davis Sr. He says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I said, so I asked him, what did that mean?
Say that again.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I said, what does that mean? He said, whatever you're doing, if it work for you, let it roll. Okay. Well, that's just the point, Otis Davis. Sometimes it ain't working for us, and we got to tell y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how about most of the time it's not working? And
Yeah.
and what Tam said about ego is so so very true. And people have to learn how to get the ego out the bedroom. Don't even come into the bedroom with the ego. That's what people should start striving to do, not come into the bedroom with that ego, because you're discovering with each other, you're learning with each other. I mean, it can't be about, you performing and about, you gonna slap it up, flip it up, whatever, rub it down, and you're gonna, blow her back out and all that kind of stupid stuff. It can't be about that.
Right.
It have to be it have to be a mutual thing. It has to be.
I need my back.
I need my back.
Need my back. Oh my God, blow her back out. I'm just like, really?
All right, let me get one more question in there. Oh wait, here it is. I have them on here. Let's see. We said, okay, here's a good one for you Christian people out there. Is oral sex considered a sin? Fellatio, the act of fellatio. Is it a sin?
So is oral sex considered a sin? The short answer is no. Now, the longer answer is that there is no place in the Bible that says thou shalt not have oral sex.
Right.
But what's in the Bible in Hebrews 13:4, it says the marriage bed is undefiled. So as long as you're not violating God's law, you're not bringing another person in, committing adultery and all of that stuff, what the two people enjoy in a bedroom is up to them, and it's all good. That's my belief.
Okay, long as they both enjoy it, that was the key as well.
Right, and that's the thing. As long as they both enjoy it. If one is, yellow lighting or red lighting something, like, nope, I can't do that, then, don't force anybody to do anything, but you can still have a conversation about it, because, later on down the line, something that a person might not ever want to do, maybe, a few years down the line, maybe they'll get a little bit comfortable, with that thing. So, they might want to try it later on. So, it just has to be whatever's comfortable between the two that's involved in the relationship.
Yeah, Tanya says the church doesn't like to talk about oral sex in specifics. They sure don't. I'm telling you, they don't talk about that. We all need to take.
Yeah, like nothing for real, Tam, or nothing. Nothing for real.
Right. Erica Jackson says no, it's not a sin. Okay. All right. Next question. What do you do when one partner has no sexual desire and, i.e. vaginal stimulation or IV for males, erectile dysfunction?
Okay. Now, what I want to say first, what'd you say, Tam?
There's sickness and health.
Yeah, true. Okay, so what I want to say first is that the little to no sexual desire, that is one of the most common sexual concerns with women and with couples, just so people don't know that they're not by themselves. Okay, so the first thing, whenever you're having some issues like that, you just want to get them go see a doctor, get a physical, get a medical report or whatever, just to make sure it's nothing physical, nothing, that's medically wrong with you. But after that, there are a number of reasons for the issue, and I'm going to share some of the reasons. Aging, hormones for women at time of the month, certain medications, relationship problems, trust issues, and power dynamics. And that's just to name a few on the women's side. And one of the reasons that this is so common is because there is a lack of sexual knowledge. So my suggestion is to get educated on the female anatomy and to get educated on your sexual response cycle for the woman. That's number one. Then for ED, erectile dysfunction, that means, of course, that there's not enough blood flow that's getting to the penis in order for it to maintain, to raise an erection and maintain an erection long enough for, penetration. So with this, of course, get you a physical, go to a medical professional, make sure it's nothing that's medically wrong with you. After that, the majority of the cases are caused by a combination of sexual misinformation, once again, relationship problems, other life stresses, aging, cardiovascular problems, depression, and drug side effects. And all of these things restrict the blood flow to the penis in men. All of those things I just shared with you. So if you are having issues, if a guy is having issues with erectile dysfunction, look at your life and see what's going on in your life. After you find out if it's not anything medically wrong with you, look at your life, look at look at your health, look if you have stressors, if you have relationship problems, if you have power dynamics in your relationship. Is your wife trying to control you? Is she not treating you well, so you can't have sexual desire for you? It's for her. It's all connected. And it's the same with the women. If you having issues in your relationship, that may be a reason why you don't have any sexual desire. And the other thing, as I shared, is the sexual knowledge. If you don't have sexual knowledge, you are not going to be able to arouse no kind of nothing. If you don't know what to touch, how to touch it, how to stroke, how to stimulate, you don't know none of that, you're not going to be able to make nobody wet. All right, brother. Okay, so you need some so you need some sexual knowledge. Get educated. The woman needs to get educated on her anatomy, and he needs to get educated on her anatomy too.
Mm. That's a good answer. I never really thought about it. Like you gotta get sex education because I guess you're always assuming that somebody in adulthood knows
Right.
about sex.
Right, because society makes us think that every men know everything about sex, which they don't, because a lot of them were raised just like we were. So they don't know a lot about sex, but then they have to pretend because that's what society is saying, that men know everything about sex and they know what to do in the bedroom, and they don't. They do not.
Right.
And of course, we already know how it is with us. We don't know nothing because we can't talk about it. We can't be about it. We can't do none of that. So, yeah.
That's good.
Or they didn't been with somebody all their life who didn't say because they were afraid to speak up. So they've been doing it wrong for 50 years.
Right. Right. And then the person that's getting it done wrong too, they don't know either. And they're afraid to say something because they don't know. They want to sound stupid. Like, oh, I don't know what I don't even know what I need you to touch or how I need you to touch me because I don't even know myself. So that's where that silence comes in too. So education, it is so important.
Educate. And that brings us up. We at 7:50. We got about 10 minutes going on the hour, but that brings me to the last question. Is self-stimulation okay? If you don't know what he's doing, can I do it?
Oh my God. Okay. Now, this is my soapbox here. Let me just tell you. So the short answer, you said, is self-stimulation okay? The short answer is yes. The long answer is yes.
That is hilarious.
Nobody knows better than me, huh? Nobody knows better than me.
Nope, don't.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. Yes and yes. Yes.
I don't know a whole lot of men, but there are some men who would have a problem with it. Bringing toys into the picture or whatever. They just kind of not with that. Whatever you need to stimulate, however you need to stimulate. A lot of that, again, it goes towards their ego. You know what I mean? If you got to bring
their ego, their no confidence, low confidence. No education, no sex education, no sex skills, so they feel threatened. So yeah. So to me, yeah. So yes, self-stimulation is a good thing because especially for women, because women need to learn about their own bodies in order for them to share that with their husbands or their guy or whoever they're having sex with. So people love to cite this story about Onan in the Bible, who God told him to his brother died. God told him to, impregnate his brother's wife so they can carry on the family line. And he refused to do it. So he pulled out and spilled a seed on the ground. That's what it says in scripture. He spilled a seed on the ground and then God struck him dead. But that scripture is about disobedience. is disobeying God. It's not about self-stimulation, because he wasn't self-stimulating. He just pulled out and didn't ejaculate inside his brother's wife. So people need to do a little more research and understand that that story really does not have anything to do with self-stimulation. And one of the things I was thinking about, while people think that there's something wrong with that, um, I suggested people who have an issue with that to sit in the tub and just caress their own body. Caress your arms, caress your legs without any judgment, without any, guilt, or you're just caressing your own body, just your arms, your legs, your hands, massaging them, your neck, and see how much pleasure you get from that. And it's the same with your self-stimulation, the same thing. God created your arms, your legs, and the pleasure that comes from the sensations that come from that. He created your vagina, your vulva, your penis. He created all of that, your whole body. He didn't stop at the navel, cut off, and then start back at the thighs. No, he created your whole body. So you touch your arms, legs, feet, whatever, head, neck, you can touch your anatomy also without any issues.
But I would say the issue that would come from that is
this
what you're
that
thinking, who
Huh?
you're thinking about, like while you're in the middle of that. Like, so you're talking Bible, so as a man thinking, so is he. But if I'm thinking about, John, so that I can, that might be a sin. And that's my thought.
Okay. Now I'm going to say for men, I can't speak for men because I know men have a whole different thing. I'm talking about women now. Now, we, since we're not so visual and we don't have to be stimulated by what we see, we can explore ourselves without ever thinking about John, about Bill, about Bubba, about nobody. All we could do, we could explore ourselves and just stay in the moment of the exploration and of the feeling and of the sensation. We never have to go nowhere where we could be considered a sin for thinking about somebody else or thinking about some porn scene that you saw or whatever. All you have to do is learn some mindfulness exercises, which help you to stay present, and you stay in that moment. You breathe, you relax, and you just explore, and then you just take in the feeling and the sensation of what you're doing and what you're feeling. And it don't have nothing to do with thinking about nobody else. It's just you and your experience in the moment.
And so, Ram, your position is if you're doing self-stimulation, you have to be thinking about somebody else or
No,
something.
no, I wouldn't say you have to be thinking about somebody else. It was kind of like a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that would that make it wrong? If you are that person that has to be visual,
Well,
as you do those things, would that put you in a different box, so to speak? Because I kind of feel like um if we're doing it the right way and doing it with our husbands, or the husband only doing it with their wives, then neither one of us know our bodies. And so we need to be learning these things together, as a union.
yeah, you can learn together and you can learn individually, because everything that you want to learn about yourself, you don't want to be practicing or trying to figure it out in front of your husband. Well, I just say some people don't. Some people, maybe that's a thing for them, but everything that I do, I don't want to have to be fumbling and doing all this other stuff, trying to figure stuff out before I get with my husband.
No,
I kind of want to know.
Huh? Wait a minute now. We have to say, well, let's keep this thing real. Grandma, you saying that you ain't, not you, but I'm saying in order to be right, you can't touch yourself until you get with a man?
I'm not saying that in order to be right. But what I am saying is we all know that you're not supposed to have premarital sex. We know that. Right?
Right.
That's where I was coming from. So my thing is,
sex with yourself. Sex with yourself is still considered in that? I mean,
No, so Mavis is saying like, and pretty much in order for me to teach you what I like, I need to know what I like myself. Correct, Mavis?
Right.
Okay. So I'm saying if we are both newbies, neither one of us have. We don't know what we like, so we're gonna teach each other, and we're gonna learn together, and we're gonna create together. But unfortunately, or fortunately, there's a lot of people who have already had, sex prior to marriage. So that wasn't me saying you're not supposed to do it. Me personally am on the fence with it all. Like I don't really have much to say about it, which I've talked to Mavis about it before. I just don't.
Yeah, I just think
get off the fence, lady.
No, but see, you know what? But it's okay that Tam is on the fence, and anybody anywhere where anybody else is perfectly fine. Because if
Right.
you can't force people to do anything. My job is to get the information out there. It's like with any information that anybody gives, their job is to share the information. Some people are going to grab a hold to it, and some people are not. Right. And if it fits for you, it fits. If it doesn't fit for you, then it doesn't fit for you. But as far as you saying about the husband and the wife, if they don't know anything and they they explore together, I think that's ideal and that's beautiful. Right. But that's still to me it does not dismiss the fact that the woman still needs to learn about her body even before she gets into a marriage. So I know a lot of young couples, they really struggle with the sexual thing because there's so much don't do this, don't do that. As far as sex is concerned, before you get into marriage, then they get into marriage and it's like what in the world?
Don't do that.
Yeah, and that's still in their head. Don't do this, and then they're scared to try anything. They're exploring what? No. We're not exploring nothing. We're going to do what we think people told us to do or what somebody said do, just have some missionary sex and call it a day. So I think, I just think that's it's a disservice to the gift that God has given us. I really do.
Okay. And for those who don't know that still trying to explore, the missionary sex is Mavis.
Wait, say it again. Oh, what is it? Missionary sex is the man on top of the woman.
Just straight up and down.
Straight up and down, man on top of the woman, and he climaxes and it's over. Nice. Pretty much. Until you learn each other, until you learn some new positions, until you learn some new tricks and some new skills, then the missionary is cool.
Right. Okay. Well, okay, Ram. And I just was making fun of Ram because I do that all the time.
That's what she does.
I know that there are very well people. That's what I'm saying. I struggled with, not that I struggled with sexuality, but I know because I was just a rebel. I did what I wanted to do anyway. But I know growing up, that's what was beat in our head. And so we do have this mindset that, oh my God, if you look the wrong way, you're going straight to hell,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That can really plague and cripple a lot of people and cripple a lot of marriages, unfortunately.
Yes.
But
yes.
Like what you said about really getting educated about it. And if you're going to go biblical, then really go back into the history and find out where that came from and how it was just, like an isolated area that had the real problem with all the sex and everything too. Because it's a whole history behind it.
Most definitely. There's
absolutely
everything in there. I like the way that Mavis, when we first started, you gave us the history on Catholics and Christians being separated and Mr. Kellogg. I thought that's good. That's a good place to start because many of us don't know. It's like, oh, okay, really? And so when we're talking about, like Tina said, if you're gonna go to the Bible or any book, don't just read that one section.
Right.
Do your due diligence and find out where it stemmed from because that's the result of something.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to open it up to anybody who has questions. Erica says she's agreeing with you. She says, Ram, just enjoy it. Easy.
Oh,
If y'all got any questions, type it in chat. Type it in chat real quick. We ain't got but a few seconds left. But if you have any real good juicy thing you want us to tackle while we're still on the air, let us know what that is. And if you watch it in replay and you still got some questions, Mavis, where can we reach you?
You can go to my website. It's www.mavismcknight.com, or my email is askmavis@mavismcknight.com. And I also have my book is on Amazon, and it's Yourself a Good Wife. And I will also be relaunching my journal, which is titled The Miseducation of the Church Girl. Yeah. So that'll be relaunched on July 4th, and it's going to be around the theme of sexual liberation and freedom. So I'm just looking forward to it. I'm really excited about that. And that's how people can reach me. And if anybody, and I do want to share too that I do offer a 20-minute complimentary consultation. So if anybody is interested, they can send me an email and just put 20 in the comments or in the subject line, and then I will get back to them within 24 to 48 hours.
Nice. Thank you.
All right, y'all heard it right. Y'all heard it right here. Y'all need to get educated because there's a lot of stuff going on out there. So like we got a lot to learn.
That's right.
Good stuff. Mavis, we thank you. We appreciate you, and let us know if you get anybody that comes through from the kitchen table talk. Y'all let her know when y'all go through. Y'all heard it right here.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming on, and we appreciate you. I learned a lot tonight, and I hope others did too.
It was fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed myself. I had a great time. Thanks you guys for inviting me on. I really, really enjoyed myself.
Our pleasure.
All right.
And keep doing what you're doing. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was good.
All right.
That was good and fun.
That was good. That was good. We loved it. That was real good. I like that. Some good juicy questions. Man, when you're talking good stuff, sometimes that hour goes so fast.
It goes so fast. But and we did this a couple of weeks ago. You was like, forget it. This is our show.
Listen, y'all join us next week. We're going to be right here at 7 o'clock on Facebook and YouTube. We got Dr. Lane Rowland coming on. He's an infectious disease specialist. He got a lot of good knowledge. You're going to want to get your pens because he's going to just overflow you with knowledge about this COVID virus and everything COVID.
All 32 strands.
Oh no, it's 40. It's 40 something now.
It done bumped up. And go to IG. Go to IG and look him up and listen to him. Listen to him, and then maybe that'll help you with some questions when you come next week.
Right. Yeah. Send us y'all questions in early anything and questions about the new one with the baby and all it is. Because I'm like flabbergasted with all this stuff. Yeah. So send your questions in the inbox, either me or Tam, and let us know what your questions are because we're gonna have the good doctor on next week.
Good doctor.
Good doctor. And we want to make sure we get all our questions answered so that we can care for ourselves and our loved ones.
Absolutely.
All right. So, as always, we thank y'all for joining us here at the Kitchen Table Talk, where no topic is too heavy or too light. Yeah. All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.